Welcome back to Marky RC. On this video is part 2 of the Neo Scorcher build. I'm going to be painting the Neo Scorcher body and the rear wing. And as for a beginner painting, not even got to mask any of the windows up on this one. Everything comes on the decal sheet. Decals can be a bit tricky to put on. Might need a hairdryer to mould them around some of the contours of the body, but no masking whatsoever. So it's a simple case of painting this. I think it's PS6 blue, Tamiya blue. Make sure you wash your body shells out with soapy water, rinse them well so the paint doesn't react when you spray inside. And then I'll show you how I cut the body shell out and how to put the decals on. So let's get this on the painting table and I'll show you how to paint a simple body shell. Like I say, no masking, so super easy. So let's get it on the table and start painting. When cutting these body shells out, get yourself a pair of curved scissors. It makes it so much easier. I don't know if you could, that will pick that up on the camera, but there's a line that's marked on the side there. It runs all the way around the body shell. If you follow that line when cutting, you can't possibly go wrong. So I'll cut the shell out and show what it looks like. Well, we have the body shell all cut out now. Just need to run a little bit of contoured sandpaper in the little cutouts because they're quite tricky to do, even with curved scissors. Got the rear wing as well, all cut out nice. So go over to the paint table, PS16. What Tamiya say the colour is. I've got 2 half cans here, so I use them up. I'm going to put these in some warm water just to pressurises the can a little bit more, and it sort of thins the paint up and makes it spray a lot easier. So I'll get all that sorted and then we start painting. Right, here we have paint in some warm water. It's been sat in there now 5-10 minutes. Got our body shell all washed and prepped, same with the rear wing. Dry that can off, stop any water splashes. And because there's no masks or anything to worry about, it's literally medium heavy coat. Make sure you're well ventilated. This can's nearly coming to the end, so I'll just use that up. We've got the other can, give that a dry. Do the rear wing. Does make the paint flow so much better when it's warm. It just seems to give the can a little bit more pressure. The same with the rear wing. Normally I do 2 or 3 lighter coats just so you can seal those decals in, but don't need to worry about that on this one. So I'll let that dry for about 5-10 minutes and then I'll come back and give it its final coat. Right, those last couple of coats have just dried. Takes about 10-15 minutes depending on how warm the room is. So I'm going to give it its final coat of blue now. It's almost, this is pretty much the same colour as Subaru blue. It's like metallic, so it's got like a fleck in it. It looks pretty cool in the sunlight. So let's get that coat on. a good thing with these simple paint jobs. Make sure the end caps get coated nicely. And there we have it. Tamiya's Neo Scorcher 220B body shell, all painted. So I'll let that dry. We'll take the protective film off, and then I'll show you how I install the decals around all those tricky contours, just using a simple hairdryer. And here we have the best bit of a paint job. All the body's painted now, and it goes from that matte colour to when you remove all the plastic outer film. Super shiny. Just get a little couple of little bits stuck on, always around the edges. So there we have the body all painted up. Pop that on the chassis. It's almost like this body's a couple of millimeters too long, because it does catch up on the rear shock tower. So you have to poke it underneath. And then we've got the rear wing, which I just need to put the mounts on, which I think this buggy, in terms of its sort of styling, does look really cool. So I'll take the protective film off this, and then I'll put all the wing and the wing mount on, and I'll show you what it looks like, and then we'll start to apply all the decals. Right, here we have the body now mounted onto the TTO2B. Does look super shiny. Got the rear wing mount on as well, and then we've got our put our decals on. They're all numbered. I always start at number 1 and work my way through, because sometimes if you don't, you'll have a decal that goes over the top of a decal it shouldn't do. Tamiya also supply a set of body instructions in the manual, where to cut the body and where to put the decals on, because you get a separate manual for decals because they do so many different variants of body shells. So it's a simple case of follow the manual to where the decals go. Start at number 1. That's the advantage of having those curved scissors that I showed you earlier in the video. It just makes it so much easier cutting bits and pieces out. So I will put the decals on, and then when I get to the tricky ones that need to be moulded around certain contours of the body, I'll show you how I do that with a hairdryer, just to make the decals a little bit more supple. So let's get on, get the decals cut out and put them on the body. Right, here we have the Neo Scorcher now with all the decals on, and I think that looks pretty cool. I was going to show you how I put the tricky decals on with a hairdryer, but God knows where that footage has gone, vanished off the face of the earth. So on the tricky decals, like on these bodies, you get some that are like sort of moulded round contours. What I like to do, take the body shell off, rest the hairdryer on a bench so it's blowing the hot air, and just hold the part in front of it sort of 20-30 centimetres away, and then you gently with your finger you can sort of mould that line and get it really nice so that everything's really tight and there's no air bubbles. Like I said at the beginning of the video, follow the instructions when putting the decals on, number 1 through to the end, because what happens is, say for instance with these white decals, they all go on first before the window mask, and then the window mask covers the edge. So if you've got any like sort of edges that don't quite meet, which I've done it the opposite way round on the rear window, but epic buggy for the money. I mean, probably £150, £160 with a couple of batteries and a controller. You can't really get any better than that. And these buggies can be hopped up so much you can spend hundreds and hundreds on them. But entry level buggy, good basher buggy, go out with your buddies, awesome. So this is part 2 of the Neo Scorcher build. So I hope you've enjoyed this video and I hope to see you in the next one. See you later. Bye.